Council meetings are long and boring. Wouldn't it be great if they were short and unboring? This is why I've invented the 5-minute meeting. That was a long guitar solo there. Hey, Ashland City Council meeting of December 18th. So the city administrator's report started off. She started talking about, they've been talking to the county about fire trimming outside the city limits to mow like a border. And she was surprised that it seems like they're okay with it. The county is. They're continuing to discuss that. And then Uber and Lyft still don't like Ashland's rules. So the city is going to bring some changes to the council that Uber and Lyft likes. And you can vote for it or not. And then this guy said, oh, by the way, it's the last meeting for this guy and for this girl. So these two, it's their last meetings, and you were both very great. And then public forum. I start off with the bald crazy guy. You know him. And he just said, Happy New Year. That was a great 2018. And then the bald, crazy gray-haired guy, he said, there's a crisis, and is a bus safer? No, cars are safer. I have a car. It's beautiful. And then the professor lady said the hog farm above Weisinger's winery is air and water pollution problems. And another old lady said, why are building permits not done? And then the debate team coach said he wanted his comments about some project entered in the record, and the city guy said no, so he asked the council to acknowledge that he was denied, and the mayor says, this guy said, he goes, lawyer, are we even allowed to talk about this at this meeting? And the lawyer went, well, yeah. And then the guy goes, this is what I'm talking about. You guys trying to get me to not talk somehow. And this guy says, you're the high school debate coach, so you're probably pulling some tricky high school debate coach tricks on us in this meeting. And this guy said, what did this guy say? He said, oh, wait, he said, what's up with this city guy? What's the deal between these two? And the city guy said, he goes, he can't talk at this meeting because he didn't talk at the other meeting. And the debate school guy says, that's because you guys wouldn't let me talk at the other meeting. And then they all went, that was the end of that deal. And so this guy just moved on. And he said, he goes, what's up with those hogs, by the way? And the city lady said, farming is legal, and it's county land, and the TID, which is below it, has a buffer requirement for livestock, and as long as they meet that, we can't do anything. We're not the city. We can send a letter to the county saying we agree with the TID, but we can't say anything else because they're afraid of saying I don't know. Anyway, then another public forum almost happened. A lady was going to speak, and then he goes, okay, you can speak now. And she was like, I don't feel like I can speak now. There was a lot of procedural stuff this meeting. It was a little weird. And then consent agenda. This guy goes, the audit committee approves the budget. Some other stuff too. I didn't follow that part. And then this guy goes, hey, the electric utility director interim spot is becoming permanent because that guy's the best. And that guy's name, city administrator, said, oh yeah, that's Tom, he's the best. And then this guy goes, he is the best. And then she goes, he is great. So they got hired that guy, approved, he's hired. And then FEMA grant. A fire marshal wanted to apply for a grant, but hey, the city has to kick in some money if they get the grant. So then the city goes, yeah, we're on board with that, approved that. And then the city looked at that private parking company to run the parking in the cities and see if the city could run it cheaper than this private company as far as like parking tickets. And the city came back and said, oh, we cannot beat that price. And they said, well, then we'll hire them again. Passed. And then taxi drivers get the license extension. They do that every meeting now. I don't know what's that. And then Park Street, planning the Park Street apartments, they approved the final approval of that thing. And then there was an infill strategy document ordinance and map and the transit triangle thing and all of that. Transit triangle planning overlay. There's like 4 things they had to approve. And so that was approved because it was approved the last time. I don't know. I think it's done. I think they're done approving that one. And then some other thing passed. And then the big deal was the new planning department, they're going to build 72-unit studio apartments on Garfield, and you can only speak on this if you spoke at the planning department meeting, and there's 12 things that are being appealed that the planning commission did wrong according to the appeals, and the staff went through all the points and said the planning commission was right every time. That's the way we see it. And then the city lawyer said, oh, by the way, I had to redact a bunch of stuff in the handouts because whoever submitted it was writing not about those 12 specific points, so we're not allowed to see them, not because it's secret. But, and then the developer's attorney guy, he showed up and he said state and local codes pursuant to definitions and percentages of ordinance 80B, CD, and G. And by the way, our group of lawyers were pretty tricky, so we made sure that we technically met every single rule. And then the two appealers came to appeal, the locals who live nearby. Well, you know, this is on because these two guys are also lawyers. And they started to quote ordinance graphics and legal statutes and put up slides. They had a PowerPoint presentation. And they just said they were, you know, flabbergasted. A lot of people were flabbergasted by the small concessions that they called the Planning Commission allowed. And then there was public comment from about this specifically. And there's a doctor lady who lived on Garfield for 18 years. And she says, I had to point out the fact that square footage was way off and made it illegal. And then everyone at the city and planning department and the builders, they all went, oh, and then they had to change it. I had to do that. And this is too many units. And then another neighbor lady said, she measured the interior playground, and it is BS, she claims. And then a local guy said, apparently he built 4 townhouses somewhere nearby some years ago. I don't know what it was. And he said, this lot's for 42 units, and you're putting 72 in there, and these developers are pushing you guys around. You're falling for it. And then another local guy said, the bicycle parking of a hook in a closet is a BS, and sewer pipes are too small, and some other stuff. And then the rebuttal from the developers, they said, we did everything compliant and was readily calculated, and we extensively documented everything. And this guy says, okay, what's the deal with that driveway exception? Is that cool? And she goes, I don't think it's cool. And then the city lawyer goes, hey, we're not allowed to think on this one. You have to ask about those 12 things the Planning Commission did and whether or not they didn't, not whether they chose right, but a lot of technical stuff that no one's, and so everyone was like, wait, so are we allowed to talk? Can I ask? She goes, can I ask about parking or how heavy bicycles are? And then everything went to crap, and they started arguing about procedural stuff, and this guy goes, hey, this is not going to get done in 55 minutes. What are we going to do? Let's reschedule the whole thing. Let's get an extension. How do we do this? And then this guy goes, hey, let's just go one by one. Go. Let's bang this out. Let's at least start, see if we can do it. And then they went all the way through all 12, and they passed. They passed the whole thing, so they're going to build this giant thing. And, you know, there was some, not everything passed unanimously. I think nothing passed unanimously. She said no the most. And this guy broke 2 ties by saying yes. And then the whole thing got passed through, and the applicants claimed they're going to take it up to some county thing. I don't know. But boom, done. And then, oh, by the way, that's like no time left in the meeting. So he goes, oh, yeah, I just wanted to say great things about this too. You two, you know, you've been really good, and you know a lot of stuff, and you're going to be missed. And she says, yeah, we're going to miss you. And then he went, well, he didn't say anything, actually. He already said something earlier. And this guy at the end goes, I know you'll stay involved. And bingo, so these two, not coming back for the 5-minute meeting. You're welcome.